I was scrubbing the pasta pan from last night's dinner when Lindsay's voice cut through the morning quiet like a dull knife. "Aaron, you left the trash can overflowing again," she said, not bothering to look up from her phone. She was perched on her usual stool at the kitchen counter, wearing those same yoga pants and oversized sweater that had become her daily uniform, fingers tapping away at whatever social media drama was capturing her attention this time. "I'm Aaron Walker, 48 years old, and after 15 years of marriage, I'd learned to read the warning signs. This wasn't about trash. The can had maybe half a bag in it, nowhere near spilling over. I set the pan down in the drying rack and dried my hands on the kitchen towel, studying her carefully. Lindsay, it's Thursday. Pickups tomorrow morning. That bag isn't even close to full. You want it out now, just say so." She didn't look up from her screen. "It's not about when pickup is, Aaron. It's about you not pulling your weight around here." Her tone was flat and rehearsed, like she'd been practicing this line in her head, waiting for the right moment to deploy it. "I've been an operations manager at Crawford Manufacturing for 20 years. I deal with union negotiations, production deadlines, and equipment failures that cost thousands of dollars per hour. When people have a problem at work, they usually just come out and say it. Clear communication, direct feedback, solutions-oriented discussion. But Lindsay, she preferred psychological warfare, not pulling my weight. I kept my voice calm and measured. Let's see. I cooked dinner 3 nights this week, paid the electric bill on time, fixed that broken garage door opener on Saturday, and mowed the lawn Sunday morning. If a half-empty trash bag is your deal breaker, let's hear what's really bothering you." She finally looked up from her phone, giving me that calculated half-smile that I'd learned meant she was already 3 moves ahead in whatever game we were playing. "Don't make this into a big thing, Aaron. Just take it out tomorrow. It's not rocket science. Tomorrow, there it was. Her favorite escape hatch, her get-out-of-jail-free card, her magic word that was supposed to make all accountability disappear into thin air. You didn't ask me to take it out. You threw a jab about me not pulling weight. If you've got a real problem with something I'm doing or not doing, say it directly. I'm not your employee, and I'm sure not playing 20 questions to figure out what's wrong." She let out a long, dramatic sigh, like I was the one making her morning more difficult than it needed to be. "You're so sensitive about everything, Aaron. It's just trash. Forget I said anything. We'll deal with it tomorrow." I wasn't letting it slide this time. "No, Lindsay. We're dealing with it right now. You want to talk about pulling weight. I'm working 50-hour weeks to keep this house running, while you spend your days curating your Instagram feed and planning your next girls' night out. If we're keeping score here, let's actually see the scoreboard." Her fingers finally stopped moving on the phone screen, and she looked up with her jaw set tight. "You're unbelievable, Aaron. I do plenty around here. You just don't notice because you're too busy playing the martyr." I let out a short laugh. "Plenty like what? Scrolling through TikTok for 4 hours straight? Planning coffee dates with Amanda? Researching yoga classes you sign up for but never actually attend? Name one thing you've done this week that wasn't purely for your own entertainment." Her mouth opened, then closed, like she was searching for words that wouldn't come. Her face flushed bright red. "You're such a jerk," she muttered, grabbing her phone and storming out of the kitchen. I didn't follow her. I calmly took the trash bag out to the curb, tied it off properly, and dropped it in the can outside. If she wanted to play Queen of the Castle, she was going to find herself ruling over an empty kingdom. That night, I got home late from Crawford Manufacturing. We'd had a production line shutdown that cost us 3 hours and thousands in lost revenue. I'd stayed until 8 p.m. to make sure the night shift got everything running smoothly again. When I pulled into our driveway, the house was dark except for the blue glow of the TV flickering through the living room window. Lindsay was sprawled on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, phone in one hand and remote control in the other. Some reality show about rich women fighting over designer handbags was playing in the background. There was no sign of dinner anywhere. "Hey," I said, setting my keys on the counter. "What's with the text about dinner being cold? You didn't cook anything." She didn't look up from her phone screen. "I was going to cook something, but you weren't here when I thought about it, so I didn't bother. We'll just eat tomorrow instead." I leaned against the doorway, studying her. "So you're mad at me for not eating food that doesn't exist? That's a new one. Want to tell me what's really eating you? Because this definitely isn't about dinner." Her head snapped up and her eyes narrowed. "Don't twist this around, Aaron. You're never here anymore. I'm not your personal chef sitting around waiting for you to show up whenever you feel like it. Never said you were? But don't text me complaints about cold food when there's no food to be cold. That's just noise. I'm working overtime to pay for this couch, that phone you're glued to, and those yoga class memberships you never use. If you're lonely, say so directly. Don't make up stories. She stood up from the couch, tossing the blanket aside with dramatic flair. You think you're some kind of hero because you work late? I'm here holding this place together while you're out doing God knows what until all hours. I grabbed a beer from the refrigerator and cracked it open, letting the hiss fill the silence for a moment. Holding what together exactly? The fridge is practically empty. There's a pile of laundry that's been sitting in the basket for a week, and you've been on that phone for the last 3 hours straight. If you're running this show, where exactly is the show? Her mouth opened and closed like she was trying to find words that just weren't there. Finally, she pointed an accusatory finger at me. You're so full of yourself, Aaron, acting like you're the only one keeping us afloat. I do plenty around here, and you don't appreciate any of it. I took a long sip of my beer, studying her face carefully. Appreciate what exactly? Your TikTok marathons, your daily coffee shop visits? Give me a specific list. I'll wait right here while you think of one. She froze completely, fingers still pointing at me like she was stuck in time. Then she turned and stomped up the stairs, her voice echoing down the hallway. We'll talk about this tomorrow. There it was again. That magical word that was supposed to solve everything without actually addressing anything. I didn't follow her upstairs. I finished my beer in peace, watched the late Sports Center highlights, and made myself comfortable in the guest room for the night. No yelling, no chasing, no begging for explanations, just a clear line drawn in the sand. The next morning I was up at 6 a.m., brewing coffee and checking work emails before another long day managing production schedules at the plant. Lindsay came downstairs still wearing her pajamas, hair looking like she'd been wrestling with her pillow all night, carrying yesterday's irritation like an oversized purse. I'm going to Amanda's house tonight, she announced while pouring herself orange juice. I need a break from all this unnecessary drama you keep creating. She waved her hand vaguely in my direction, like our entire marriage, or maybe just my existence, was some kind of burden she had to carry around. Sounds like a good plan. Have fun catching up with her. You staying over there tonight? My tone was completely neutral, like I was asking about her grocery shopping list rather than her evening plans. She hesitated for just a moment, clearly expecting a different reaction. Maybe I will. I'll let you know what I decide tomorrow. I grabbed my coffee mug and headed toward the door, checking my watch. Cool. Just text me if you need a ride back or anything. That's it. Her voice suddenly had a sharp, almost desperate edge to it. You don't even care where I'm going or who I'll be with or what time I'll be home. I stopped walking and looked directly at her. You're a grown woman, Lindsay. You don't need my permission to spend time with your friends. But don't expect me to play detective just because you're dropping mysterious hints. You want space to figure things out. You've got all the space you need. Just don't complain later when that space starts feeling empty. Her jaw tightened and she gripped the orange juice glass so hard I thought it might shatter. You're such a complete jerk, Aaron, she said, but her voice was shaking now instead of angry. I walked out to my truck, got behind the wheel, and drove to Crawford Manufacturing. At work, people actually respected me. They listened when I talked, followed through when they committed to deadlines, and treated me like a competent professional. The contrast was getting harder to ignore with each passing day. That evening, Lindsay didn't come home. She sent a text message at midnight. Staying at Amanda's tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. No explanation, no apology, no courtesy heads-up call. Just another empty promise wrapped up in that word. I didn't respond to her text. Instead, I went down to our basement, fired up the treadmill, and ran 5 miles until my shirt was completely soaked with sweat and my mind was clear again. Then I took a hot shower and slept peacefully in the guest room. No desperate phone calls, no pleading text messages, no sitting around wondering what she was really up to. If she wanted to test my reaction to her disappearing act, she was going to discover I don't break that easily. The next afternoon I came home from work to find Lindsay in the kitchen stirring a pot of spaghetti sauce on the stove. Her hair was done up nicely. She was wearing a fitted top that she hadn't bothered with in months, and she had a smile painted on her face that looked like it came from a makeup tutorial. Hey baby, she said in a voice that was suddenly soft and flirty, like we were newlyweds instead of two people who'd been playing relationship chicken for weeks. I'm making your favorite dinner tonight. Are you hungry? It was pure performance theater, and I could see every single stage light from where I was standing. You're cooking dinner now? That's interesting. I thought you were taking a permanent vacation from all household responsibilities." She turned away from the stove, her carefully applied smile tightening just a fraction around the edges. "Can't I do something nice for my husband without getting the third degree about my motives? You absolutely can do something nice. But don't pretend like last night didn't happen. You disappeared without any explanation, and now you're suddenly playing Martha Stewart. What's the real angle here?" The painted-on smile started cracking like cheap makeup. "There's no angle, Aaron. I went to Amanda's house to talk through some things. I needed a night out with the girls to clear my head. Why are you making this into such a federal case? It becomes a federal case when you vanish without a word and then expect me to applaud like a trained seal when you decide to grace me with your presence again. You want to play the loving wife? Fine. But don't think a pot of marinara sauce erases the last month of tomorrows and mind games." I picked up my gym bag and started heading toward the basement. She called after me, her voice getting higher and more strained. "I'm actually trying here, Aaron, and you just keep pushing me away like I'm some kind of enemy. Trying isn't disappearing overnight and expecting me to wait around like a faithful dog. You want to actually try something? Start with basic honesty about what you want." The following week turned into an elaborate chess match where every move was calculated and every response was measured. Lindsay doubled down hard on her passive-aggressive routine, perfecting it like she was going for some kind of advanced degree in psychological manipulation. "Working late again tonight, I see. Well, I guess I'll just order takeout tomorrow since there's no point cooking for one person," she'd say with perfectly practiced mock disappointment, as if my job was some hobby I pursued for entertainment instead of the steady income that paid for her comfortable lifestyle. I'd respond with nothing more than a simple shrug. "Your call entirely." I absolutely refused to take the bait anymore. I started handling all my own laundry, cooking my own meals when I wanted them, and keeping my side of the house meticulously clean and organized. Not out of spite or anger or some attempt to prove a point, but simply because I was completely done depending on her to fulfill basic adult responsibilities when the mood randomly struck her, or when she needed something from me. The real breaking point came at Amanda's backyard pool party on a Saturday afternoon in late summer. It was one of those neighborhood gatherings with coworkers, neighbors, and Lindsay's usual social circle. The smell of grilled burgers mixed with chlorine and citronella candles, and people were drinking cold beer from red cups while talking about vacation plans and home improvement projects. I was standing by the grill talking to Scott Torres, who's married to Lindsay's cousin Stephanie, about the Braves' chances of making the playoffs this season, when Lindsay's voice suddenly carried across the entire deck like she was addressing a stadium. "Aaron's been so incredibly busy saving the world at work lately, he's completely forgotten how to have any fun at all, right, babe?" Her tone was light and teasing, but it was loud enough for every single person at the party to hear clearly. There was a definite sting buried in those words, like she was deliberately trying to paint me as the boring, workaholic husband who couldn't loosen up and enjoy life. The conversation around the pool died completely. Amanda smirked over her beer bottle. Courtney suddenly found her potato salad extremely interesting and stared down at her plate. Scott raised his eyebrows and waited to see exactly what I was going to do with this public challenge. I turned around with a small, calm smile and looked directly at Lindsay across the deck. "Saving the world? Nah, just keeping the lights on around here. You know, for your phone, your girls' nights, your yoga memberships, this whole comfortable setup." I gestured casually at the house and pool area. "If you're genuinely bored with our life, maybe try planning something that doesn't involve complaining about me to our friends." "I'm game for whatever you want to do." I took a slow sip of my beer, holding her gaze steadily, and letting those words settle into the uncomfortable silence that had fallen over the entire gathering. The deck went dead quiet. Amanda's smirk completely vanished from her face. Lindsay's carefully composed expression cracked, and her face flushed bright red. She let out a forced laugh that sounded like glass breaking. "Wow, Aaron, way to make things incredibly weird for everyone." "Weird? You threw the first shot across the bow. I just returned serve. If you've got a real problem with something specific, say it directly to me. Otherwise, let's enjoy the barbecue." My tone was light and almost playful, but everyone within earshot knew exactly what had just happened. Scott chuckled quietly and gave me a quick nod that clearly said he respected the way I'd handled that public ambush. Lindsay grabbed her drink with shaking hands and stormed inside the house, muttering loud enough for people nearby to hear. "We'll definitely talk about this tomorrow." The group slowly moved on to other conversations, but I could feel the shift in the social dynamic. People had watched me stand my ground instead of apologizing or making excuses. and Lindsay's attempted public humiliation had completely backfired on her. 2 days later, I was grabbing lunch at Murphy's Diner with Keith Morrison, my buddy from the maintenance department at Crawford Manufacturing. We'd worked together for 15 years, and he'd been through his own rough marriage patch a few years back that nearly ended in divorce. "You're quieter than usual today, Aaron. Still fighting the good fight on the home front." His tone was casual but genuinely concerned, like he could read the stress I was carrying around. I took a bite of my cheeseburger and set it down carefully. It's like playing chess with someone who keeps changing the rules in the middle of the game. She tests me constantly, pushes every button she can find, then acts completely shocked and offended when I finally push back. Keith leaned back in his booth and nodded knowingly. "Been there, brother." Early in my marriage, Sarah pulled almost exactly the same routine, testing boundaries, pushing limits, seeing how far she could go before I'd finally break down. I let it slide for way too long, and it nearly cost me everything. Finally, had to tell her straight up, "You want out of this marriage, just say so. But don't expect me to sit here and beg while you figure out whether I'm worth your time." That conversation woke her right up. He pointed his fork directly at me for emphasis. "You gotta draw a clear line in the sand, Aaron. Draw it hard and stick to it. Or she'll keep pushing and testing until there's absolutely nothing left to push against." I nodded slowly, feeling something important settle into place in my chest. "I'm drawing that line. She's just not ready yet for what happens when I actually follow through on it." That Saturday morning was when everything finally came to a complete head. Lindsay was out on our back deck, sipping one of her bright pink smoothies, wrapped in a blanket like she was at some kind of spa retreat, scrolling endlessly through her phone like it was her full-time job. I'd spent the morning organizing our garage and cleaning out old boxes, partly to stay busy and partly because I was completely tired of the elaborate dance we'd been doing for weeks. I was exhausted from her constant pattern of pulling away from me, then expecting me to wait around patiently while she decided whether our marriage was worth her effort. I was done chasing after promises of tomorrow that never actually materialized into anything real. I walked out to the deck and sat down directly across from her, setting my coffee mug on the small table between us. "Lindsay, we need to talk about this situation." Right now, she didn't even bother looking up from her phone screen. "Not today, Aaron. We can deal with whatever this is tomorrow." That single word hit me like a physical slap across the face. I leaned forward, keeping my voice steady but letting the steel show through clearly. "No, I'm completely done with tomorrow. I'm done with your constant testing, your mind games, your disappearing acts, and your refusal to have real conversations. If you're not actually in this marriage anymore, just say it directly. I'm not living in relationship limbo for another day." Her fingers froze completely on the phone screen. She looked up with genuine surprise in her eyes, like she hadn't expected me to finally call her bluff. "What exactly are you saying, Aaron? You want to break up over some silly argument. I'm saying I'm not your backup plan while you figure out your life. You've been stringing me along with promises of tomorrow for weeks now, keeping me on an emotional leash while you decide whether I'm actually worth your time and effort. I'm done waiting around. You're either fully committed to this marriage, or you're not. Pick a side and stick with it." She laughed, but it was nervous and shaky instead of confident. "You're completely overreacting to everything. I just need some time to think things through properly. We'll figure all this out tomorrow. I promise." I stood up slowly, my voice becoming cold and absolutely final. "There is no tomorrow left, Lindsay. You've used up every single one I had to give. Figure it out right now, today, or I'm done with this marriage." I kept my eyes locked on hers, watching the panic start to creep across her face as she realized I wasn't bluffing or playing games anymore. Her face went completely pale, and for the first time in months, I saw genuine fear in her eyes instead of calculated manipulation. "Aaron, come on, don't do this to us. We can talk about everything. Work it all out. Just give me until tomorrow to get my thoughts together." I shook my head firmly and walked back inside the house. I went straight to my desk and pulled out the folder I'd prepared during my lunch break the previous day. Divorce papers, completely filled out and ready to file. I'd met with a lawyer not out of anger or spite, but because I was finally done being treated like an option in my own marriage. I set the folder down on the kitchen counter and looked at her through the sliding glass door. "You have 10 days to sign those papers. I'm not going to fight you on property division or make this ugly. I'm just finished." She stared at the folder like it contained a live snake, then looked back at me with her mouth hanging open. "You're actually serious about this? You're just giving up on 15 years. "Yeah," I said, My voice calm and completely resolved. You wanted tomorrow? Well, here it finally is. 3 days later, she sent me a desperate text message. Can we please talk about this? I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Can we try to figure things out tomorrow? I read her message, then typed back, tomorrow's over. Lindsay. Sign the papers. I hit send and immediately turned off my phone. 10 months later, I'm living in a modern downtown condo that's about half the size of the house Lindsay and I used to share. It's smaller, sure, but it's completely mine. No echoes of passive-aggressive comments hanging in the air. No half-empty promises cluttering up the emotional landscape. No walking on eggshells wondering what mood she'll be in when I get home from work. I've established a solid daily routine that actually functions. Coffee and news in the morning, productive days managing my team at Crawford Manufacturing, gym sessions 3 nights a week to stay in shape, and occasional dinners with Keith on Fridays to talk about sports and life in general. My life is significantly quieter now, but it's also much cleaner and more honest. Like a well-maintained machine that finally has all its parts working together in harmony instead of fighting against each other. Last week, I ran into Lindsay at Murphy's Diner, the same place where Keith and I had talked about drawing lines in the sand. She was sitting alone in a corner booth, her hair looking dull and lifeless, her eyes carrying the kind of deep tiredness that comes from finally having to face real consequences. She looked genuinely older somehow, like the weight of her own choices had physically aged her over the past few months. She spotted me when I walked in and hesitated for a long moment before getting up and walking over to my table. Aaron, she said, her voice soft and broken in a way I'd never heard from her before. I really screwed everything up. I didn't realize what I actually had when I had it. Do you think we could maybe talk about trying again? I looked at her with complete calm, feeling nothing but mild curiosity about how this conversation would play out. We talked for months, Lindsay. You had every opportunity to listen and participate. You chose not to. Her eyes immediately filled with tears, and her voice cracked when she spoke. I'm so sorry, Aaron. I really am. I thought we had more time to work things out. I thought you'd always be there waiting for me to figure myself out. Tomorrow, I cut her off, my voice cold but not cruel. There's no tomorrow left, Lindsay. You used every single one while I was trying to save our marriage. I'm living today now, and I'm living every day after that. I stood up, left money on the table for my coffee, nodded politely, and walked out into the crisp morning air. The sun was shining bright. The sky was completely clear. And for the first time in years, I felt absolutely and completely free. At 48 years old, I learned something that 20 years of professional experience couldn't teach me. Respect isn't something you beg for or negotiate for like a business contract. It's something you demand by how you carry yourself and what you're willing to accept from the people in your life. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is stop enabling their worst habits and let them face the real consequences of their choices. Tomorrow never comes for people who refuse to live in today. But for those of us who choose to face our problems head-on and demand better from ourselves and others, every sunrise represents a completely fresh start. The hardest lesson I learned at 48 was that some people will only respect the boundaries you're willing to enforce, and waiting for them to change on their own is just another form of giving up on yourself. When someone keeps promising tomorrow but never delivers today, they're not planning for your future together. They're buying time to figure out their exit strategy while keeping you as their safety net.